Welcome back to Social Security Post. One of our loyal subscribers recently asked a question that's on the minds of millions of Americans right now. What about the Keep SNAP Funded Act? Who's fighting for it? And can it really stop this food stamp crisis from happening again? That's a powerful question, and today we're breaking it all down with the latest facts and real numbers. If you depend on SNAP benefits or care about keeping this program secure, you need to hear this, because what's happening in Washington right now could determine whether more than 40 million people get their food assistance next month. Before we dive in, please like this video, subscribe to Social Security Post, and tap that notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I read every single one. Right now, the entire SNAP system is standing on shaky ground because of the ongoing government shutdown. The question we're about to answer isn't just about a bill. It's about whether families will have groceries on their tables in November. Stick with me, because every 30 seconds in this video, you're going to learn something that affects your benefits, your wallet, or your future security. Let's jump straight into what's going on behind the scenes. Across the United States, more than 41 million low-income Americans rely on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, to help buy food each month. The program distributes roughly $9 billion every month through EBT cards, giving vital support to seniors, people with disabilities, single parents, and working families living paycheck to paycheck. However, as of late October 2025, at least 27 states have publicly said they cannot guarantee November payments if the federal government shutdown continues. The reason is simple. SNAP is federally funded, but state-administered. States don't keep a giant pool of money lying around. They depend on monthly transfers from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. When those transfers stop, the entire system halts. The USDA does have what's called a contingency fund, but that pot holds only about $5 billion, enough to cover roughly 2/3 of 1 month's payments nationwide. That means the government would still need another $3 to $4 billion just to complete November's obligations. Some states like Pennsylvania, Illinois, Texas, and New York have already issued warnings or press releases saying that if Congress doesn't act soon, residents may see delays or even missed EBT reloads. In short, without a federal fix, the SNAP program will start to buckle. And that's exactly why lawmakers have proposed the Keep SNAP Funded Act. The Keep SNAP Funded Act of 2025 was introduced with a very straightforward goal: to make sure that SNAP benefits continue even during a government shutdown. The bill says that if Congress fails to pass a budget, the Secretary of Agriculture would automatically be allowed to spend such sums as are necessary to keep the program running. That means families could still receive their benefits even when Washington gridlocks. It also includes language to authorize retroactive payments, back pay, for any benefits missed during a funding lapse. In short, the bill would make sure the food stamp system never freezes again because of political standoffs. The House version of the bill was introduced by Representative Mariannette Miller-Meeks of Iowa, and the Senate companion version, S. 3024, was introduced by Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. Both lawmakers argue that feeding Americans shouldn't be negotiable, and that programs like SNAP should be treated as essential services, much like Social Security. They've received support from several anti-hunger organizations and some bipartisan interest, but the bill still has to make it through committees before becoming law. If enacted, it would permanently authorize USDA to issue payments during future shutdowns, preventing the kind of chaos we're seeing today. Even though the idea sounds simple, there are serious hurdles. Right now, the bill is only introduced and referred to the Senate Committee on Appropriations. It has not yet passed either chamber. That means, for now, there's no automatic funding mechanism in place. Some lawmakers argue that giving USDA unlimited authority to spend without congressional approval could undermine Congress's constitutional power of the purse. This constitutional debate is one major reason the bill hasn't yet advanced, even though the need for food security is obvious. The USDA itself has also drawn criticism. Earlier this month, officials announced that the department would not tap into its remaining contingency funds to cover November SNAP payments, citing legal restrictions. That decision reversed an earlier assumption that USDA might stretch those funds to buy time. The department warned states that it cannot legally issue benefits or reimburse any state that tries to front its own money without an approved budget. That leaves millions of recipients stuck waiting while Congress debates. In other words, passing a bill is only half the battle. Implementing it correctly is what ensures the food actually reaches families. Let's pause and look at the actual numbers because they paint the real picture. SNAP currently serves 41.2 million Americans each month. That's roughly 1 in every 8 people in the United States. The total annual cost of the program is about $115 billion, making it one of the largest safety net programs in the country. On average, the benefit per household is around $213 per month, but for millions of seniors and families with children, it's the only consistent food support they receive. A single missed month could mean millions of empty refrigerators. Meanwhile, the USDA's contingency fund is sitting near $5 billion, and it's legally restricted for emergencies such as natural disasters, not for routine monthly payments. To pay out full November benefits, the agency needs roughly $9 billion, so even using all reserves wouldn't be enough. That's why so many states, more than half of the country, have sounded the alarm. Add to that the new SNAP work requirement rules taking effect in November for able-bodied adults without dependents up to age 54, and you have a double hit on low-income Americans, stricter rules and disappearing funds at the same time. If the Keep SNAP Funded Act becomes law, it would fundamentally change how food assistance operates during a shutdown. The bill would ensure that SNAP payments never stop again, regardless of whether Congress reaches a budget agreement. It would authorize USDA to use automatic standing appropriations to cover monthly benefits and then repay those funds once the government reopens. This would guarantee uninterrupted food assistance for tens of millions of people and eliminate the uncertainty that families are facing right now. The bill also requires that if any benefits are missed during a funding lapse, USDA must issue retroactive back pay to every eligible household once funds become available. That's crucial because in past shutdowns, missed payments were not always fully reimbursed. In a broader sense, this law could also help stabilize grocery retailers and state agencies, which rely on predictable EBT schedules to manage supply chains and staffing. By ensuring continuity, the act could prevent panic buying, late deposits, and administrative overload every time the government hits a budget wall. While Congress debates, SNAP recipients still need to prepare. The most important thing you can do right now is stay informed. Visit your state's official SNAP or Department of Human Services website daily for updates. Many states post emergency alerts if there's any change to benefit schedules. If you can, stock up gradually on shelf-stable foods like beans, rice, and canned goods, so you're not caught off guard if benefits are delayed. It's also wise to connect with your local food bank, community pantry, or church program now before a potential surge in demand hits in November. You can also make your voice heard. Call or email your congressional representatives and ask them to support the Keep SNAP Funded Act. Remind them that this isn't about politics. It's about food security for millions of Americans, including seniors, veterans, and children. If enough voters speak up, Congress will feel the pressure to act quickly. And remember, if your benefits are delayed, keep your documentation and stay alert for any official notice about back pay or emergency allotments once funding resumes. You have rights, and understanding them now could make all the difference later. The situation with SNAP funding is one of the clearest examples of how political gridlock directly impacts real lives. Right now, more than half the country's states are warning that they may not be able to issue benefits on time, and federal officials admit that contingency funds are nearly depleted. The Keep SNAP Funded Act represents a common-sense fix to prevent this exact crisis from happening again. But until it's passed and signed into law, families remain vulnerable. The bottom line, this act could mean the difference between stability and chaos for millions of households every time Washington stops functioning. If there's one takeaway, it's that programs like SNAP must be treated as essential, not optional. The people who rely on them, seniors, disabled individuals, children, and working families, can't wait for Congress to settle budget fights. This bill won't solve every issue with food insecurity, but it's a solid step toward making sure no one loses access to food because of politics. The next few weeks will determine whether lawmakers choose compassion and continuity or let another crisis unfold. Thank you so much for watching this in-depth look at the Keep SNAP Funded Act and how it could prevent future SNAP shutdowns. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to Social Security Post, and turn on all notifications so you'll get updates the moment new information is released. And here's my question to you. Do you think Congress will pass this act in time to protect November benefits? Let me know your thoughts and your state in the comments below. I'll be replying and featuring some of your insights in future videos. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, knowledge is the strongest tool we have to protect our benefits and our future.